All right, the Eagles are 2-1 thanks to some clutch plays from the offense and some incredible performances on the defensive side of the ball. Yet it wasn't all positive, as the turnover battle reared its ugly head again, and the Birds suffered several losses due to injuries. However, a couple guys stepped up and showed out, even though Jalen Carter still wasn't satisfied with his performance. And Gardner had some comments for his former team. Plus, even after the win, the idea of Nick Sirianni being fired started trending on social media. So let's talk about why that is and the head coach's unbelievable play calls. Plus everything else from Week 3. But first, let's run it. What's up, guys? Alright, I'm kind of struggling to put into words what we witnessed yesterday. I'm not sure if I've ever seen a wilder or crazier game, with insane ups and downs and the Eagles being able to go on the road and get a victory, despite a head coach seemingly trying to sabotage the effort at every turn.
Are you mad at me?
Be that as it may, I honestly did not expect the defense to be as dominant as it was, because they literally just shut down the best offense in the NFL. I mean, in fairness though, I did think it couldn't get much worse, although I'm not exactly sure how much that's saying. Although remember, it's just week 3. Yet did anyone think we'd see the Vikings to be 3-0 with wins over the Texans and 49ers? Or how about the Broncos and Bo Nix beating the Buccaneers in Tampa? Let's just say I certainly did not. And I get it, talking about the Philly defense, they hadn't shown enough heart and fight to fully believe there could be a turnaround, especially after what happened against Atlanta.
They're not good enough. They're nowhere near good enough.
And the confidence coming from ourselves. We got to believe in ourselves. Everybody say, oh, we coming in against the #1 team and all this. Man, listen, at the end of the day, it's football. It's only week 2. How you the best offense and best team if it's only been 2 weeks played? You still got what, 17, 16 weeks to go? So at the end of the day, we had to just tune out the noise, understand who we were, and just go out there and play equal ball, and that's what happened.
I appreciate that, but man, it can't ever be easy, can it? However, we got the win, so how about I give away some tickets? All you gotta do is hit that like button, and then after dropping a like, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and then venture on down to the comments and type in Hungry Dogs, where I'll then randomly draw a winner via the randomized spinner during my Friday night live stream to win Eagles tickets to any game of your choice. Reminder, please be on the lookout for scammers. I will never ask for personal information, and I'll use custom emojis when letting you know that you've actually won something. Also, gotta give a quick shout out to the official sponsor of the channel, Underdog, for making this giveaway happen. Plus, with it being Monday, Underdog is guaranteeing you a free pick with a Joe Burrow play for Monday Night Football. All you gotta do is use code PHILLYSPECIAL when signing up with Underdog and then pair that up with one other pick to win big. Now, unfortunately, you can't take 2 picks from the same team, but I'm thinking of Brian Robinson over 55.5 rushing yards is the right play to go along with Burrow. Or depending on if Underdog is offered where you're located, you gotta take a look at my new favorite pick'em game called Streaks, where you start your streak entry by making a pick 2, and then if that goes green, all you gotta do is pick 1 at a time until you green 11 picks total. And then you'll really see the green, aka you win 1,000 times your money. So use my code PHILLYSPECIAL or just use the QR code right there, and then whenever you sign up, you can get up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you use that link. So check it out, or just use the link in the description. Anyway, speaking of underdogs, the big dogs showed up, with the defense holding the Saints to just 219 total yards and 12 points. Not bad, considering the fact that they had scored 44 points previously versus Dallas and then 47 before that against Carolina. Now look, I get the fact that CJ said they knew they'd get one from Derek Carr because it's Derek Carr, but come on, which one of y'all actually expected to get a win like this? For real, I mean, I picked us to win and saw a good bit of optimism, yet to go in thinking the offense wouldn't score a single point until the 4th quarter would have sounded like insanity before the game.
I just want everyone to know, if the product on the field is not, if we make a mistake, a player makes a mistake, it's not on that player, it's always on me and me first.
You know, at least he admitted it, but we'll get to more of that in a second. However, the defense, in particular the D-line, came out strong, with Alvin Kamara's 5.7 yards per carry entering the game getting stuffed on the very first play. Yet New Orleans were able to build up their longest drive of the day. But the Philly D was able to force a field goal that barely doinked inside the upright. And then somehow miraculously, the Saints didn't go marching down the field again until the 4th quarter, as Fangio's unit forced 6 straight stops thanks to constantly stuffing the run, after multiple guys talked earlier in the week about bringing that violence and physicality. And man, did they ever. Remember, entering the game, Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis had 0 sacks, 0 tackles for loss, 0 pass breakups, and 0 quarterback hits. But after hearing the chatter from the fans and a pep talk from Fletcher Cox, I'd say that worked, with Jordan Davis registering the first sack of the game and finishing with a stat line of 4 tackles, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, and 1 quarterback hit. Meanwhile, Jalen Carter was back to looking like the game wrecker he is, as the Breadman racked up 4 tackles himself, also 2 tackles for loss, 2 passes deflected, and 1 quarterback hit. And seriously, just go back and watch JC and tell me you don't notice a difference. This dude was constantly in the backfield and making his presence felt on so many different plays. Granted, New Orleans attempted to flirt with death by thinking blocking one-on-one was a good idea, and they paid for it. But, hindsight's 20/20.
Any idea would be a better idea.
Well, they learned the hard way that JC's virtually unblockable when he wants to be. However, even in a dominant performance that held the Saints to 89 yards rushing, the bread man wasn't happy with how he played.
I still don't like how I played, but I know that we played good as a team today. That's one thing, and I'm happy for that. I think we got some boost in the locker room right now, and we just got to move on to next week and get another dub.
What would it take for you to be happy with the performance?
I don't know. I got to be like Khalil Mack, get like 6 sacks in one game. No, I'm just playing, but like, I don't know, man. I feel like I love sacks. I know that's big. I love tackle. I love everything, but I don't know. Just getting a dub as a team makes me happy, but I still got to see more out of myself.
The fact that he demands so much from himself should be enough proof for the naysayers and doubters from last week to say this dude is real. Again, after that opening drive where the defense allowed a field goal, the Eagles' defense only gave up 17 yards the rest of the half. So it's clear to see that the pep talk from Fangio also worked, along with the adjustments made from week 2. Now, as I say that, unfortunately though, most of us Eagles fans have grown accustomed to the fact that it can't ever be easy and there's always going to be some sort of difficulty. Even though the defense showed up, the offense did not, at least early on, as Kellen Moore's unit literally went backwards on the opening possession. Now, thankfully, it looked like Hurts and the offense settled down on the second possession, since it only took 2 plays for them to go from the Philly 23 and get to the New Orleans 13. Yet a couple cautious play calls quickly brought up 3rd and 8 from the 11. Where then we saw Jalen throw an interception in the end zone while trying to hit DeVonta Smith. Of course, to be fair, it's hard to say if Smitty should have run a tighter route because if he goes across the face of Matthew, that's a touchdown. Nonetheless, it wasn't, resulting in 25 turnovers for QB1 in his last 21 games. However, it only got worse after the defense got another stop and gave the ball back to the offense, since Jalen started to put together another promising drive only to have a Hurts fumble on a chase from behind and give the ball back to the Saints. FYI, 26 turnovers in 21 games. Something Jalen knows he has to get better at.
Naturally, you demand the best of yourself. I know I'm my own biggest critic in that, and how I lead this team and how I lead the offense. And so I'm going to hold myself to a high standard to that. And my standard is the highest with that. But statistically, it's pretty fascinating to see how the game went on both sides of the ball, how many first downs we had, how efficient we were, just, weren't able to get in the paint. And so we just want to learn from those moments, learn from those situations. I don't think us being able to progress the ball is an issue. We just have to find ways to be efficient when we get down, in the red zone. And obviously I got to do a better job of protecting the ball. I trust my guys to make plays, but I got to be better with that. And the fumble is unacceptable in that, regardless of the circumstances. And so I own all of those things, and I'll learn from it, and I'll continue to be the best I can for my team.
Look, we won this game, and Jalen's a huge reason why, so I'm not going to jump on board with those of you saying that Jalen's a bust or that he's done, he's washed, or anything like that. At the same time, if the Birds want to get where they want to go, then they're going to have to buck the trend of turnovers. Like, this might sound crazy, but the Eagles are going on 12 straight games without winning the turnover battle, which, shout out to Ruben Frank, is the 3rd longest in franchise history. I mean, yeah, technically Philly's won 2 games this way this season, but let's be honest, that's not the recipe for success in the NFL. So be that as it may, I've got to ask, on a scale of 1 to 10, how concerned are you with Jalen turning the football over? Either way, no matter what you say, it can't be as bad as the lack of confidence in Sirianni. Because sure, the turnovers were bad, but what the Eagles head coach did next is flat out inexcusable, as the Birds marched 78 yards in 14 plays before bringing up a 4th and 1 from the 15. Mind you, this was literally with 14 seconds remaining in the first half. Now, it's at this point where you and I and heck any casual observer of the NFL would say just kick it and go into the half tied. After all, the Saints only had 3 points at that point. But nah, not our guy Sirianni. He says let's run it with 1 timeout left.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Well, it didn't, as Philly ran a fake tush-push on 4th and 1, resulting in a turnover on downs and getting stopped, meaning the Eagles were held scoreless in a half for the first time in 7 years. Listen, I'm serious. Can anyone explain some sort of positivity or just logic for what Sirianni was trying to accomplish there? Like, best case scenario, you're not scoring on a fake tush-push. I mean, come on. You're going to maybe, pick up an extra couple yards, you get a first down, but then again, you got to call timeout because there was only 14 seconds remaining, and then kick it. You were going to kick it before. It was going to be a short field goal, like a chip shot, for Jake Elliott, so you weren't doing anything by going for it. Look, I think Sirianni's a good dude, but the comment suggesting the NFL needs to look into the head coach's Caesars gambling app for who he took on this one was certainly a fair point after that call.
He said there was something in it for me, on my own.
Yo, what the?
Don't ever take sides with anyone against the family again.
I called that play at the end of the half. Kellen did not. I called it.
Why?
That's what I thought was best for the football team in that particular case. That was my decision. I did it. It didn't work. and we'll get better. I'll get better from it.
I get it. It's easier to sit here and poke fun after the fact, and the end justifies the mean. You got the win and everything else there, but honestly, I'm struggling to be able to sit here and actually justify or defend Sirianni's decisions anymore. Plus, you could argue Sirianni's situational awareness got worse in the second half, as the Eagles went with a heavy dose of Saquon. In fact, 26 got 8 of the first 10 touches for Philly before they were left at a 4th and 3 from the 34 of New Orleans. But once again, Sirianni decided that 3 points to tie it wasn't the play.
Are we certain he understands the game?
I honestly don't know. Of course, you're not wrong in suggesting that the players could have executed the 4th down play better, yet it just seemed to add fuel to the fire, leading to Fire Sirianni beginning to trend on X. Honestly, Nick already had a very short leash, but after these couple of different moves, you gotta believe Howie and Jeffrey Lurie is sitting up there going, what on earth is this guy doing? I mean, the leash has been incredibly shortened by this point. Anyway, getting back to the game, once again, the defense answered the call, giving the ball back to the offense. But for the 6th consecutive drive, the Birds were unable to come away with points. Partially thanks to some penalties and just poor execution. Although, not gonna lie, but when I saw the punt block happen, that's when I thought, yep, this one is over. Like, literally nothing was going Philly's way. However, a crucial stop on 3rd down by CJ Gardner-Johnson brought up 4th down, where the other former Saints player, Zack Baun, made an impressive stop on Alvin Kamara to give the ball right back to the Philly offense. By the way, can we just give props again to how great Zack Baun is? Like, seriously, this dude is a league leader in tackles and had 13 tackles for a game high on Sunday. Just saying, I know Howie's always thinking ahead, but it might be wise to lock up Sack John for the long haul. Anyway, that seemed to be the momentum the offense needed to finally do something, as they went 3 straight times to Smitty to convert for a 1st down. Before, on the final attempt, a ridiculous cheap shot by Christian Boyd knocked Smitty out of the game with a concussion. And yeah, I'm sorry, there's just no excusing that hit away. Just a really dirty play, and I'm shocked there wasn't a flag thrown. Obviously, prayers for Smitty. Hopefully the concussion's not a big deal and he'll end up being okay, but quite honestly, at that time and point of the game, I was thinking whenever he went down, I don't know if Philly has enough firepower left, since you'd think the Saints would be expecting Saquon Barkley on the next play, given the lack of weapons. And I don't know whether they were or not, but it didn't seem to matter, as the future All-Pro ripped off a 65-yard touchdown to get the Eagles in front, and do a little celebrating with the fans. And oh, by the way, that was the longest run for Saquon in 5 years and the longest run in the NFL this season, since 26's run was the 2nd fastest GPS tracker run this season. So there you go. Tell that to your friends who said Saquon was washed.
I mean, Saquon mother Barkley, man. I'm sorry, pardon my language. Saquon mother Barkley, man.
In that moment, DeVonta goes down and then Saquon pops that run. How do you kind of flip the script and get back to play?
I mean, that was kind of like got your back, you know. Saquon made a statement with that play. Right after that, it was kind of like, don't worry, man, I got your back, Smitty. We're gonna make a play, and oh man, he made a play. That was awesome.
Anybody, when you say that, it sucks and it hurts, but especially Smitty, the way he comes to work, the way he prepares, and how much he means to this team. It was a tough loss. It was tough to see him down like that in that moment. We all made sure we said a prayer for him, both sides, and like I said, for us, the thing we did right after that, we locked in and we said, come on, trust each other, and let's get this done for Smitty. And sometimes it just works like that. Popped off a big one right after.
I'm just saying, there's a reason I was trying to tell everyone, don't sleep on this game, the Eagles could win it, and there's still reason to be optimistic. The celebration was short-lived because the Saints went down to get a field goal, and then after initially moving the ball downfield, the Eagles were stopped to bring up a 4th and 11 from the New Orleans 42. At which point, Sirianni elected to send out a cold kicker to attempt a 60-yarder, which he missed wide right. Again, part of the argument is, yes, it's Jake Elliott, and Jake is Jake the Make, he's the GOAT, we all know that, but still, in that situation there, Jake has basically been not used at all, and then you send him out there for the first kick of a 60-yarder. I mean, come on, this is just another piece of evidence on the mountain of terrible decisions Sirianni's made. Yet, even like Sirianni said, the players fought through adversity, where Slay got injured on a ridiculous unnecessary roughness penalty, and then later, Derek Carr was able to take advantage of Keely Ringo having to fill in to pick up 29, before capping it off to Chris Olave for the easy score. And then after a failed 2-point conversion, the score was 12-7 Saints with less than 2 minutes remaining. However, say what you will about the Birds' inconsistency, but this is a game they would have lost late last year. I mean, I'll give it to you, it didn't look promising a couple plays into the drive, especially after a sack and then incompletion made it 3rd and 16 from the Philly 35. But that changed quickly when Jalen found Dallas Goedert over the middle on a rub route, with 88 taking it all the way down to the 4-yard line.
We knew they'd play man. With the running back coming in, we knew it was man. Jalen alerted the play, got us to a good play, and Jahan did a great job picking for me legally. He made a couple defenders run into each other, did his job to the best of his ability. When I caught the ball, I looked, I said, "Where is everybody?" And then I just ran as fast as I could, as long as I could, and thankful that we got Saquon. I was able to get in the end zone twice there to kind of give us the 3-point lead. And then shout out to the defense. They played great the entire game. And Reed with another incredible game, the finisher. So, you know, as a team win, it took all of us. And, you know, we played a really good complementary football. The defense gave us a shot all the way to the end. And when the offense needed to step up and do it, we were able to. So feels really good.
I know we haven't seen much of Jahan Dotson, but at least it finally paid dividends on that game-saving play, with Dotson telling E.J. Smith that they actually repped that play in practice multiple times. However, Dotson wasn't running it correctly. But thanks to the practice, when it mattered most, the practice paid off and it was able to get Goedert wide open for the massive gain. Of course, yes, the job wasn't done until Saquon ran it in for 6. And then rushed one more time for the 2-point conversion. But make no mistake, even with some turnover struggles, Jalen was big time in the clutch.
He's the most poised human being I've ever been around in my life. He doesn't get flustered, never too high, never too low. And to be honest, you know, only being around him for however many months, learned a lot from him as a player and as a man too. So he's the leader of his team. And you know, obviously those turnovers not what you want to happen, but that happens part of the game. But it's all about how you respond. And you know, he responded with a 2-minute drive going down the field and making a big play to Dallas, and Dallas running his butt off, and we find a way to get in the end zone. He just comes in the huddle and say everything's gonna be all right. Always got that look on his face that, you know, no need to worry. Just keep going at it, keep working, and we're gonna be all right. You could just see it. You know, he don't even gotta say much. You could just see it on his face. You could see it on his demeanor. He's a winner. He's a gamer, and he came up big.
Come on, give QB1 some credit. He was right on the money with several of those throws down the stretch. Yet I hear you. We still needed one stop, up 3 with 1 minute left. But it didn't take long as some pressure from BG and Josh Sweat forced a quick throw from Derek Carr, and Reed Blankenship made the pick. And therefore concluding one of the wildest up-and-down games that I've ever seen, and quite honestly, my emotions are still very much shot.
I need a drink.
Also, shout out to the backups who played major roles in this game, like Johnny Wilson, a.k.a. Groot, for an impressive fighting for a first down in the first half, Paris Campbell, who made a couple catches, and both Tyler Steen and Fred Johnson, who played like big-time starters. For real, Tyler Steen ended with the highest pass blocking grade on the entire team, allowing 0 pressures and 0 penalties in 36 snaps, while Fred Johnson constantly gave Hurts plenty of time to throw as well. Although, to be fair, the fellas were not surprised to see that.
That's why Stout's on their ass like that every day. Everybody, they all get coached like starters. They all get coached like starters, and you know, Fred and Steen stepped up today big for us. And it starts with, you know, Cam and Landon and Jordan, you know, communication and just trusting each other, trusting the process, trusting the work that we put in, and those guys came up big for us, and we're gonna need them. You know, everybody. It's gonna take all of us if we want to do what we were able to do this year.
Next up mentality. You know, we lost a couple old linemen, I think, before halftime, and Fred and Steen, you know, they played incredible. They did a great job. Fred had a great block on Saquon's long touchdown run, being able to cut the guy off. We were able to hit a gap. And, you know, that just shows how good our coaching staff is and how much we believe in, you know, everybody. It doesn't matter who's in there. It's next man up mentality, and it's all we got. It's all we need. So just shout out to everybody that was able to step up. You know, Paris made some big plays when we needed them. And, you know, it really takes a team. And, you know, it doesn't always go the way people want it to, but when their number's called, it seems like they're able to do what they need to do.
Heck yeah, man, whatever it takes. And honestly, kudos to Kellen Moore as well. Yes, I know 15 points ain't going to cut it, but you can see the elements of efficiency in Jalen throws and willingness to throw it all over the field. Plus, how about Goedert's usage? I mean, that's definitely a different route tree than what we saw all of last year. Now look, the negative is with all the injuries, since we're sitting here with Lane Johnson with a concussion, DeVonta Smith with a concussion, Mekhi Becton in a hand, A.J. Brown in a hamstring, also Slay potentially dealing with an injury as well, and then add on top of that some unconvincing play, and yeah, there's absolutely some concerning elements. And then speaking of concerning elements, also Britain Covey suffered a broken bone in his shoulder according to Merle Reese and was seen with a sling around his left arm after the game, as the wide receiver will now miss up to 6 weeks, meaning he's headed to the IR. Not great news, obviously, but at least it won't be season-ending. And Cooper DeJean will be the one to replace him at returning punts while he's out, so we'll see how he does with the team. But again, just like I said last week, you don't officially know what a team is just a couple weeks into the season, so let's give them some time, remain optimistic, they're going to be okay. Although yeah, time to figure it out might be over for Bryce Huff, after Agent Zero saw the fewest amount of snaps in the game this season. Yet even with only those 18 snaps, he still couldn't get on the stat sheet, meaning he's over through 3 games. So yeah, not good. How are we feeling about number 0 now? Also, one thing's for certain, this unit's got that dog mentality back. Plus, it could be worse, and we could be Dallas, who suffered their 3rd straight loss at home dating back to last year during the playoffs, and are now 1-2 on the season, while appearing to be not capable of running the ball nor stopping it. Anyway, I'd say it's pretty positive considering the fact that you're first place in the division. Yes, there's things to clean up, totally understand that, but if we take a look around the entire league, there's not a whole lot of teams that are guarantees here. So right now, we pump the brakes, not a huge main reason for concern. There's a couple, but I want to hear from you guys. The good, the bad, the ugly, everything, all the takeaways there. Let me know in the comments, and I'll catch you on the next one. This has been the Philly Special.